There we go. So we can have a copy of this video. I will ask you now that we are starting, if you can mute your microphones. I will give you a prompt in a couple of minutes because I do want to listen to you. I do want to have your input and everything, but so that our microphones are not clashing, let's try to mute everybody until I give you the word. I'm gonna put the music down in case. Somebody here, see if I can mute. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so welcome everybody to this class about alchemy and Hermeticism for our spiritual practice. Today, there's a few things I want to explore. This is more a class for those who never got familiar with alchemy, or even for those who have certain preconceptions to see what you have read or experienced or done related with alchemy and Hermeticism, and try to bring an approach on alchemy, which is both practical and theoretical. But the theory is not as maybe many of you have investigated before, which is opening an alchemy book and reading maybe a Paracelsus book or Nicolas Flamel book, or one treatise of alchemy, where we can open the book and start reading. And what I think, if you have experienced that, you probably found that it's a very strange language. We read and nothing seems to really come in. And that is the theoretical part. But also the theoretical part, and the one that I'm interested in talking about today, is the one that is not the practical alchemy, that's the other part. Their alchemy has a spiritual approach and a practical approach. And both sides are as important as each other. It's as important studying and understanding the spiritual and the evolution process of alchemy as well as practicing over the material that we choose. For example, I am a plant alchemist. I do the procedure of alchemy over the bodies of herbs and medicinal plants, but there is also alchemy of metals, there is also alchemy of minerals. Again, some of you came here through the Crystal Grid group, and there's total alchemy that can be done with minerals, with crystals. But even when we work with those, it's important to have the practical aspect. So today, first of all, I want to know a little bit about you. I want you to tell me how did you come here? How did you find out about this class? If you have been following my work, if you saw anything of my social media, if you saw the live that we did with Paula Harlock on Friday. Tell me a little bit what brought you to this class, and if you have been following my work or you just recently started following my work, and tell me your name and maybe a little bit about what you know about alchemy. So now I invite you to turn on your microphones and share with me whatever you want to share.
I'll go first. Hi, everybody. My name is Tiffany. I was in the live with you, of course, on Friday. And I'm sure I know a little bit about alchemy, but nothing that I've put a name to. Everything that I've learned pretty much is organic. So it's not as though I've studied it. So I'm just looking to connect the dots. You know, we learn so much through our own experiences, and we don't know to call it something specific, right? So that's why and these are my two children that have decided they want to be a part of this too. I am excited to learn and connect the dots with you and connect to what you're saying and learn. So thank you for hosting this.
Thank you very much, Tiffany. Have you had any chance of peek through some of my posts or my website or some of my info? Because in those posts, I usually bring a little bit of alchemical knowledge in a way that is more maybe dynamic and more easy to absorb. And then in my website, there's a little bit more in-depth information. But if you have maybe you have seen any of my posts that sort of caught your attention or anything like that?
I haven't been able to check your page out. I have been consumed. I'm a homeschooling mom, and like the kids, yeah, they're like always right here. Stop. So it's always like managing the two, and I haven't been able to, but I do plan to. But I'm still gonna absorb as much as I can here today.
Yeah, I invite you to all of you to go and check, because there are some things that you can sort of save in the post and sort of read it again or watch it again, and then you can ask me more sort of targeted questions or things that those things sort of start inside of you, right? So I saw this post and I want to know what this is or things like that. So I invite you to explore that. Who else is here today?
Hi, my name is Tana Canwell. Yes, I got the information from all of you. And what you said we are supposed to do, tell the reason why we're here.
Sorry, what was the last thing you said?
I'm asking, what else did you say? We must say the reason why we're here.
Yeah. How you came here? So you say you watched the live, and do you know anything about alchemy? What aspect have you learned before or know about, or which one do you want to know about?
No, I actually don't know about. I actually don't know about it. So that's why I'm here, to learn, to get more information about it.
To start from scratch. Then the same thing.
Yes.
If you have just met me on Friday when we did the live, then you can also go through my bio and on Instagram. I also have a Facebook, but I use Instagram more to share a little bit about alchemy. So that always is information that you can sort of read about and bring out different subjects about alchemy and the way I use it in spiritual work.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Who else do we have? And anybody who has a definition of alchemy or not know anything? It's very interesting to see what people know. I see that it is a subject that a lot of people sort of, it calls the attention. And I remember Paula in the live said, it has this mystery to it. It has this mysterious name, and most people don't even know what it means, right? What is the word alchemy? I mean, most of us relate it with alchemizing is a synonym of transformation, but why? Does anybody know why? Hello to those who are joining in. I'm gonna start with sharing my screen to show you a little bit of what we're gonna talk about today, and then you're gonna let me know. Let me see if you can see this page. Can you see this page here? Or yeah, everybody? All right, okay. So if anybody at any point want to ask a question or tell me something, raise your hand. I think there is a little raised hand. We also have a chat, if I'm not mistaken, if I can find it somewhere. I think we do have a chat. And you can write your questions there. Surely I'll get a notification. So I call this introduction an external and internal laboratory experience, because alchemy is all about laboratory. It's all about breaking down the main core of things and breaking down the matter. So if our matter is a plant, then we'll be doing plant alchemy. But if our matter is our spirit, then we also have to bring our spirit to the table, to the lab table, to be able to dissect it, to be able to understand it. And alchemy is all about knowing the functioning, the birth, the evolution, the growth of the subject, of the matter that we are studying. So when we're studying plant alchemy, we're studying how plants grow and develop, and through what energies they grow and develop, and through what energies they heal, and how they can heal the human being. But in spiritual alchemy, what we're going to do is study a little bit more some concepts that are a little bit more difficult to see. For example, how can we achieve certain manifestations in the spiritual realm, in our own spiritual journey, how we can move in a process of transformation that has a beginning, has specified steps in the world of alchemy, in the language of alchemy, and has a goal. Now, in terms of these two opposites, the prima materia, which is the first matter, is the matter without refining, without polishing. And the end goal, which is something that maybe many of you know about alchemy, which is achieving either gold or the philosopher's stone or the alchemist. People call it in different names. So all of these allegories are processes of transformation. So we are the prima materia, we are the first matter, the individual that finds that they want to polish their spirit, that they want to transform, that they want to evolve. So I start as a raw material, right? And I need to start doing this alchemical laboratory work of polishing and getting purified, so sort of peeling off the impurities. In the alchemy of metals, this is known as transforming lead into gold. Why? Because gold is an incorruptible metal, is the most perfect metal that humans know so far. And this is also something that links us a lot to ancient Egypt, right? Everything that was important to them was made of gold. And there is evidence that they knew how to convert materials and to achieve gold. And this is how they could do all these beautiful monuments and statues and sarcophagi and all made of gold. So the important key word here, some of you are joining in, saying hello to those who are joining in. The key aspect in here is that is the word transform, right? Because it is very used in alchemy, or transmute is the other word that is very used in alchemy. But I like more to use that word in a careful way, because it's not like lead has to become something different to become gold. The alchemists say that lead and all the metals already contain gold, and they contain the seed for gold. And it's very similar to what other traditions say, like Buddhism, like Hinduism, where we already hold the I'm gonna mute here. There we go. We already contain the seed of the perfection that we want to achieve. And also that perfection doesn't have to be, it's not a perfection conceived in our society, that you have to be this way or look this way or act this way to be perfect. It more has to do with our inner spiritual goal. Is the person we want to become. It's the path we want to achieve. So alchemy will guide us through the manifestation of our goals in a spiritual way. And with this, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about myself and my history and how alchemy has touched me personally. I studied, my name is Luciana Sol, and many people say that it's a very light name, like Luciana, and Sol is very, very shiny. My parents thought that, and they call me that. But I started my path I was born in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, which is the capital, is the province, the main province and the capital of Argentina. And I was born there, and my journey started in about 2014. So I was about 23 years old, 24. And I started studying for a yoga instructor. And I studied for 4 years in the Shaolin Temple in Argentina. The Shaolin Temple in Argentina is a part of the Chinese temple, of the Shaolin Temple in China. And so we were ordained as disciples of the Shaolin Temple. We were trained in a lot of Chinese arts, like we learned a Chinese style of yoga, as well as Hindu yoga, and all the Hindu background, the Vedas. I learned all types of yoga. Like in these 4 years, I specialize in trauma yoga and recovering, elderly, pregnancy. So I really dedicated myself to this, to the point that I was taught how to train new teachers. So I've had for about two to 3 years, I had groups of people who were coming in to the world of yoga for the first time and wanted to become instructors. So through this, I learned how to work with people and transmit a spiritual journey, because to become a yoga teacher, you also have to go through a process. It's not just learning the technique of doing the postures, right? It's you have to really do a spiritual path. So after those 4 years of studying and those 3 years of teaching students, I learned how to work with groups, how to start the dynamic of spiritual progress and spiritual evolution into people so that they could achieve their goals. And after this, in 2018, I started studying alchemy. And this is when, through different coincidences that we're going to talk about, that were coincidence later on, it's more like a causality. There's a cause and effect. I was led to an ordained alchemist in Argentina, which was my professor, Professor Julio Ascoaga. He's been ordained in France with 2 of his friends. There were 3 people, 3 alchemists. And so he taught me for 2 years the art of laboratory alchemy and Western alchemy. And in these 2 years, 2018 and 2019, is where my internal engine of transformation sort of kicked in. And in 2019, this process woke up, and suddenly an old, long dream that I had when I was very young, which was, since I was very young, I studied English, and I had a feeling that I had to come to the UK for some reason. I wanted to live, and I'm talking about when I was about 13, 14 years old. I started having this I was drawn to the culture here and the language and etc. So in 2019, some coincidences started happening to me where I met different friends in my alchemy class, and I was led to work in a retreat in Catalonia, in Spain. I was invited to work as a yoga teacher in there. Now, it turned out that when I arrived there, this was a Masonic Templar building. It was a really old manor, a medieval manor, that was part of a path that spiritual people, spiritual practitioners went through. And this was one of the manors where they will stay and sleep. And there was there was a hidden chamber in this building. It blew my mind, really. There was inside of a cave, a hidden place of worship and practice that obviously for centuries nobody had used, but it hold that energy. And not just that, I think this is telling me that I think this call is gonna end. Did you get a message too that the call was sending?
No, you're the host. It's 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes for each. So once it ends, we'll have to log back in.
Oh, and we've been 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe while I was starting and waiting, it could have happened. Well, what we're gonna do, I think, yeah, we have 10 minutes. If this cuts, what we do is just I close it and we enter again. Everybody is okay with that? Can you all do that? Until I see how to. I haven't used this for a while and I'm lost with Zoom.
That's fine with me.
So I'll let you know. I'll let you know when we have like 1 minute. I'll let you know. And we can close it and just enter in the same ID and everything. Hopefully it'll be the same password. Or I'll see if I can put it without password so we just can jump in. So yeah, in 2019, I prepared everything to travel to this manor in Spain. I arrived in 2020, right before the pandemic. And I stayed and I worked in this manor for about 2 to 3 months. I got the opportunity to learn a lot more about, this place, actually, this cave underneath had a river, a course of water running that you can still hear through the rock. So why they have chosen that spot. And this is where I started learning about the alchemy of the territory too, and the geometry. And this is something that I will come to talk about later on with other.
Did you say England?
In my first,
learned it.
This Templar manor was in Catalonia, in Spain.
I look like it done.
No, you're unmuted, Melody.
Okay. I thought they were asking me. All right. Okay, so far I was in Spain, but I was already looking at coming to the UK, which was my dream that I always wanted to achieve. But all this transformation and being in this place pushed me to also develop my business and my vision, which is called Medicina Isiderum. I talked a little bit about it on the live on Friday. Medicina Isiderum, the name and the purpose of this business came to me through a vision I had that connected me with some of the ancient Egyptian gods. And through that information, I received the information that this was a medicine from the stars to heal all the individuals that are tied to the stars. So therefore, since I had that revelation, which was before my trip, it was at the beginning of 2019, I started developing these therapies. And this is why I work with alchemy, because alchemy ties up astrology, the human being, and the medicine of plants, the medicine of herbs. And in that way, then I developed my holistic therapy, which has to do with this, has to do with healing for the individuals and the beings that are tied to the stars. So we study how we are tied to the stars, in what way, and in the imprint of each person's natal chart, there is a way that the energies and the archetypes of the planets and the stars have a way of channeling through us and sort of giving us the way for our purpose in life. So basically, this is how I started alchemizing my own process. When I was in Spain, I had already met my partner, the love of my life, who is from here. He is from Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland, strangely, is a part of the UK, which is where I always wanted to go, and I didn't know why. Turns out that before the pandemic, I came to live here with my partner in Northern Ireland and be part of the UK, and this whole opening to the world in a different way started for me. I started meeting people from all over the world. I became part of the Crystal Grid, which is also this energy work that we are doing in various parts of the world. So for me, achieving that move into this part of the world that I didn't know why I wanted to come to was very important in my own alchemy evolution, my own path of evolution. And I got to visit Ireland with all its Celtic, Druid, ancient practices and information, and the informations in the stone circles and the places of worship of these old Asian cultures, which is something that I keep working on. I keep connecting with these energies. I keep connecting with this land. And it's been a gift for me to experience a place that has so much ancient history. So that's a little bit about me. And nowadays I keep on studying. I keep on studying medical astrology. I keep on studying ancient Egyptian magic. And this is my background sort of to teach what I teach. If you have any questions now, we have about 3 to 4 minutes. Otherwise, if you want to, we can close this session and open the new one. So let me know if you want to know anything else.
I have a question.
Yes, let me know.
Just to elaborate, you say human beings are tied to the star, just the concept of what that means actually.
I know when you have an experience of connection with beings that are in another realm, the ways you decode the information sometimes are more an enigma than they are an answer. I got this information. Those were the words. There were other words too, but it was tied up. And the visual that I had was that we were like marionettes tied up to constellations that weren't the constellations that I know. It was geometry. So all of these years and all my work of these years have been trying to develop that, trying to find what that tie to the stars is and how it affects us and how we can use it for our evolution. So the way that I developed is, first of all, through these courses of alchemy that I teach and that I've studied. We have things called plant signatures and let me get the word because I forgot it. It's like an astrological anatomy, which is the way that the planets correspond to human organs, to human systems. It's also part of medical astrology. Occult physiology, that is one of the books that helped me. It's a book by Rudolf Steiner, Occult Physiology, and he helped me understand how the planets are tied up to our organs. And through the theory of Paracelsus, which is a theory of signatures, plant signatures, we can also tie up the energy of the planets and the archetypes of the planets into medicinal herbs. This is, for example, to say that a rose is a plant of Venus, and therefore it will heal what in our body is tied up to Venus. In what way it will bring beauty, it will bring balance to our life, depending on how we use this plant. For example, if we use the essential oil of this plant, then it will bring a sense of self-love, of self-worth, of family and unity and beauty. If we use plants that are ruled by Venus, they will have an impact over our reproductive area, over our kidneys. And this is all through physical astronomy, let's say. Astrology is like physical astronomy and plant signatures. So this whole course of alchemy that I teach is to understand those links and how we can use medicinal plants to heal in an emotional, psychological, and physical way. Does that answer your question?
Okay, so it's really using the herbs to align. And I noticed you said, so is it that you said some beings are everybody on the planet. Some people on the planet are aligned, are tied to the stars, or everyone on the planet.
Everyone. Everyone and everything is really all the sentient beings, and this counts as animals and plants too. We are all
Okay.
tied to the stars, and I think it's in that way, in that planetary